So long, and thanks for all the memories. What's up, guys? I'm Hunter, and here to do a breakdown / live react. Well, I already read it. I was gonna lie and say I've read it, but no, I've read this one. I've been reading Undead Unluck. I've been keeping track of it, like, ever since I covered it on the channel for a little bit, then I just stopped it again. But then I was like, it seems like it's about to end sometime soon. Like, we're literally in the middle of Ragnarok. Sure, we do have to deal with the other rules, but I give the series 30 more chapters at most. I could see it end in early 2025. Really depends on how fast they take. If we start beating the master rules chapter after chapter, we may be cooked. Well, not necessarily. We won't be cooked. But like, the series is gonna end soon, and like, I'm covering a whole bunch of stuff on the channel. I figured, why not? Because then it'll give me another thing to cover. Because I think now I have Shinobi Undercover. I'd have Undead Unluck. Hold on. Let's not waste any more time, and let's hop right into it. Editing me. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. What's up, guys? The guy with a pencil here. Fun fact: I do into. Have it on me and keep it on me at all times. And another fun fact: I think currently on the channel, if I were to cover everything I cover, let me just open up the Viz website. let me stop playing with this. Let me open up the Viz website. What do I cover on this darn channel now? I think literally everything. Not everything, but at least in terms of weekly manga released on a weekly basis by Shonen Jump. This is before I catch up on Dan, which I'm gonna add to, or Dan. Well, I'm not trying to say, but I may add One Piece. I'm scared. I just need to catch up on One Piece, and I need to read, and then I need to like hope that the heavenly beasts at Viz and Shueisha do not immediately come down from the heavens to slaughter me. But Sakamoto Days, Kagurabachi, now Hunter x Hunter, Ichi the Witch, Shinobi Undercover. So yeah, Undead Unluck would give me 6. I may want to collect One Piece. I mean, Chainsaw Man's just not weekly. In fact, oh shoot, it doesn't even have a next day a chapter is going to be available. So yeah, Chainsaw Man, it's way too inconsistent, really call it a weekly. But anyway, that's another one, Viz exclusive that I cover. And then obviously I have 4 Nights in Blue Lock. So I think that'd be 6 from Shonen Jump, then 2 more from, they're both Shonen, but I don't think they're in Shonen Jump. But, yeah. Your boy covers a lot, but honestly, I'm down with that. So, let's not waste any more time, and let's hop right into chapter 227, I'm for either or. And I like this chapter. I'll be honest with you straight from the start, considering this is just a review and not live reaction. I like it, and it works. But I do hope this isn't the end of the. I mean, maybe it could be though. That the reason I even brought up the idea of being worried about the pace that we're going, because this is the thing. I'm not sure, because some people are saying the manga got axed. Like, for some reason, Undead Unluck, which made it all the way to 227 chapters, got axed, or well before this. Like we've been covering the final Ragnarok for I think like maybe 5-6 chapters now. But a lot of people just been saying Tezuka Sensei got axed, bada bing, bada boom, they're done. But I don't know. The Undead Unluck anime didn't do bad. In fact, it got an anime in the first place. It beat way past 100 chapter mark. It's had its fair share of central pages on Viz. It's like, I don't want to believe it was axed or canceled. The main reason why I think we immediately hopped into Ragnarok is because Andy would break the plot. If I had to hazard a guess, like ultimately, after collecting all the negators, like, the story kind of wouldn't necessarily. I mean, the only unsolved plot point was solved last chapter in Juiz, or Julia, reaffirming and regaining the memories of Juiz through Apocalypse. That was like the last hanging plot thread that could have maybe been solved. Any sort of manifestation of injustice. But like, outside of that, what quest could Apocalypse have gifted that Andy wouldn't solo stomp? Remember, as a soul being, he was holding like all 10 of them. Well, not all 10 of them. Like, some escaped past him, and some were free past him on quest. But still, like, he was holding off all the Master Rules by himself. So I think the reintroduction to Andy in the narrative kind of sealed its end. But I'll admit, I would have liked more time with the full Union. Because ultimately what ended up happening, and we'll get that when Ragnarok truly properly starts, and they get past all their individual battles. But, like, we just got everyone together. So I do think it may have been good to do 1 or 2 of the Master Rules. And, like, have us really see the full might of the Union all at once. Because, like, technically this is that, but it's still just 1v1 battles. At the same time, outside of the sun itself, outside of the strongest power in the universe, that isn't Luna, I suppose, I'm not sure who could stand up to everyone at once. That's the only thing with having such a powerful Union, or even just so many powerful characters all in one place. Yeah, like, there wouldn't really be tension. But now there is tension, even though we know they're going to win. Like, presumably, I don't think Tezuka Sensei is going to have a dark ending. Just like I For the longest time, I didn't think JJK was gonna have a dark ending, and it really didn't. It really didn't. But same thing I feel about Suzuka Sensei. I don't think Undead Unluck is gonna have a dark ending. So I'm interested to see how this goes. But of course, let me stop yapping about possibilities in other series. Let me actually hop into the chapter itself. So open up, and we do get to see that Juiz, or Julia, is thanking Apocalypse for this beautiful, wonderful, horrific list of memories. As she says, "Thank you, Apocalypse. I have them now. The memories you and the old me shared. And also the way to manifest injustice." So, this is interesting. She doesn't manifest injustice immediately. That's kind of funky. Notably, the only other time we've seen someone use Apocalypse to get their memories back, they immediately manifested their ability. Because they had the information, right? And, well, actually, no. Actually, now think about it. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't. Because it was a combination of things. It was literally watching Ichigo die. Like, his Ichigo die in front of him. That's how Nico got Unforgettable back. So, like, technically not. Ironically, in a way, yeah, this maybe just is the thing. Like, she still needs to somehow re-trigger that event in of itself. It isn't just Apocalypse refueling the memories, because they used Apocalypse to get Nico all that information, all the amps he needed from the previous lifetimes, after he got Unforgettable by watching Ichigo die. So, actually, never mind. This does make perfect sense. Disregard that complaint immediately. I do just like this interaction, and I'm interested to see what Juiz has to, or Julia, I'm so used to saying Juiz, but Julia now has to do in order to re-trigger the event itself. Especially considering Victor doesn't just, well, I keep calling him Victor because I think in the original rough translations he was called Victor, he's just Victor. But considering Victor doesn't exist anymore and is currently trapped in his own little soul bubble with, or not soul bubble, like satellite with Andy, Fuuko, Life, or Luck and Death, like, I'm not sure exactly how she's gonna trigger it, unless the Injustice trigger ended up just being something in the world that now currently exists, coincidentally, at the same time. I don't know. It may, ironically enough, the first trigger may have been Ragnarok, so maybe she just needs to lay eyes on him again. I have no idea. However, or Sun, and then by proxy Ragnarok, so she just needs to see Ragnarok again, but I have no idea. I'm interested to see where this goes, because it doesn't get addressed in this chapter. As we see, she says, "Leave the rest to me. You take a nice, long rest." And I do think this is a nice conclusion to Apocalypse's character. I don't think we'll see much more of him again. He does close his eye here, seemingly resign himself. And I believe he gets destroyed. Because, does he get destroyed here? No. Not, yeah. Oh, no. Soul shows up as if he's about to start violently assaulting everybody. But he doesn't actually destroy Apocalypse. I read this chapter like a week ago. My bad. But with it being the case, we do get to see that Top is summoned in order to do Juiz a favor, likely taking her to the spot on the planet where her ability manifested, or at least Juiz's ability manifested. But immediately, Soul beams down. Oh, actually, no, she just says topside. So, like, once again, maybe it's just seeing Soul? That'd be a simple thing, though. But, I mean, it would make a good trigger, I guess. Let's see. What? Darn it! Nico, what happened? Top, hurry up and take Julia. I swear, I'm sick of this. Taking on opponents you stand no chance against. Oh, this is Top. Gosh darn, I keep forgetting. But ultimately, we see Mui and Shen specifically fighting against Time. Now, I don't know. I don't fully get this matchup. Because, like, I thought almost everyone was fighting their parent, quote unquote. Like, in fact, I do love how both Death and Luck, or like, really? You kids think you can beat your parents? In like a chapter or two ago? That was actually pretty metal. But, like, if they're fighting Time, how? Like, because isn't Shen's ability Untruth? Also, I'm tweaking. I forget, did Mui even develop an ability in this timeline? Because I know she got Untruth from Shen in the last one. I need to do a reread of Undead Unluck. Gosh darn it. I just finished my Hunter x Hunter reread. I may have to do an entire... But I just recently reread Undead Unluck and reread it again. No. But, all that aside, speaking of, there is no Shen. I have no idea where he is. That's why we're waiting for him. I think Shen's supposed to be Time's opponent, because he's specifically unfade, and Time makes things fade away, and Shen is unfade. So, like, Shen's gonna show up to run the fade, presumably alongside Shen, or no. Brain. He's literally our favorite character. Gosh darn it, Brain. But it is Shen. What's his name? Gosh darn. Am I dumb? See, I'm so confident. I was like, oh, I can just hop right back into reviewing it. I've been reading it enough. I'll be perfectly fine. Yeah, that's Shen. Who's your daddy, boy? Fang! What? But Fang needs to show up because technically Time would be his opponent as he's unfade. Shen is untruth. Why? I'm stoked. But interesting that he's initially unaffected by this because we see that Mui does age, but she is actually still smiling. And Shen does say, hey, you're cute, even as an old lady. And something's about to give him back shots. But we see that fighting, despite being at such a huge disadvantage, still, I observe each of you. So I believe this is soul yapping, right? Yeah, this is soul yapping. But with that being the case, this is, I think, yeah, because they're fighting against war. I know. Why is my brain I was so confident of what is wrong with me? Billy, and what is his name? What is his, gosh darn it, Billy, no, Billy, what's your homeboy's name? Tella, I think it's Tella. It's Tella, ain't it? Gosh darn it, this is what happens when I review too many manga. My brain just, yeah, it's Tella. Yeah, it's Tella. Okay, yeah. So Billy and Tella are fighting war, and I forget who else they're fighting. It may just be war. But these two are fighting war, specifically trying to use an unchanged barrier that's cracking from the overwhelming pressure. Yusai is specifically going up against Draw, which is interesting. Because, like, she shouldn't be, I mean, maybe it's a really bad matchup now I think about it. But we see that she actually manages to utilize her ability in an interesting way. Just like we'll see a character later on in the chapter use their ability in an interesting way. In order to force Draw into undrawing by literally sheathing their blade inside of herself by allowing the hit, presumably, I'm guessing, which is a crazy thing. And notably, Draw doesn't seem to respond, but we cut away immediately to Rip and Latla. There we go. See, sometimes I gotta turn I gotta reach into the memory depths. I'm sorry, I got the memory like a goldfish. I have, if we were to quantify memory in terms of like gigabytes, I maybe have 2. On a good day, I may have 2. But with it being the case, this is a crazy duo as Latla and Rip are fighting sick naturally. And it's looking a little bit devious because, you know, the whole issue with Latla's sister. But we see that Soul does actually kind of give this respect as he says, I swear, I'm sick of this. Taking on opponents you stand no chance against. Fighting despite being at a huge disadvantage. Still, as I observe each of you, I find those hopeful looks on your face never change. But if you go away, they will change. Soul pops up, and very specifically to negate the existence of injustice, as juiz is what's allowed them to essentially skip the 10 master rules before, and that is intriguing. Once again, I wonder if any of the master rules are going to develop beyond their base instincts when encountering injustice. Like, how many times have you faced the same thing and just magically held the same ideals and allowed yourself to get one shot? I don't know. Like, that's actually kind of crazy, but I'm interested to see how this ends up playing out in the long run, and if any of them will adapt to injustice in order to unjust themselves. But with it being the case, we see that Soul says, you will die here, injustice. After all, you're already dead. And we see DNA or change specific, which is, I'll admit, DNA is a very interesting way to show change. It's kind of like, because technically your DNA isn't supposed to change. Whenever your DNA does change, I mean, I suppose like through succession, like technically once you have a child, they are a change of your DNA and someone else's DNA, taking halves of it and just smacking it together. But at least in the set of concept, DNA is actually supposed to stay linear. If you allow change to exist within your DNA, that's how you get very deadly things. It's a star sign. I think it has something to do with, I don't know anything about zodiacs, but I think it has something to do in August. You get that if your DNA changes, or you just mutate, which just isn't really a good thing. But interesting that change is represented directly by DNA. I suppose I'm not sure how else you would represent it, but still, we do get to see that they're actually a little bit confused on what's got Soul all tweaking. Soul, what are you so nervous for? Yui's died without looping and changed, didn't she? All you have to do is leave her. Or maybe you don't believe in my rule. Is that it, Soul? So, well, actually, let me finish. This angers me. Don't you feel the same, Gina Chamber? And she violently uppercuts her daughter, kind of in a weird way, with her hair. Or actually, I'm not sure if it's her hair or her fist. I want to say, yeah, it is her fist. She does straight up appear and clock Gina directly in the face. But this is interesting. It implies, kind of, in a way, that Change believes that Juiz, or Julia now, could never manifest injustice in the same way that Juiz did because she's a different individual. But, like, why would you believe that? When you know that the rules, especially the non-solid rules, the unrules, the negated rules, always change by interpretation. And, like, even if it was fundamentally different at first, that may actually make it worse for you. Because then Julia would have the base incarnation of injustice, and then the new one merged together, which would just make it stronger. And, like, Change, I had to say it, your ability kind of sucks. Because how many loops have the same people appeared over and over and over and over and over and over and over again? Like, Nico's just a universal constant. Gina's a universal constant. Like, fuuko literally played everything out perfectly because nothing changed. Even though things change. It's like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't blame Soul for not having any faith in change. Because, like, it doesn't, at least not in this universe, everything's on a set time loop. So, he's not all too invalid for being worried. And we see that Gina is simply unfazed by her mama as she laughs in her face. And Change goes, "What are you laughing at? Have you lost your mind?" "Oh, no. I mean, I find it funny." "What's that?" "You're the rule of change. But the prospect of not changing terrifies you." That is true. Like, I do get that to some degree. I guess, I do to certain points, though. Would I ever want to be forever unchanged? No, because I mean, like, immortality sucks. If everyone was immortal, it's like the syndrome scenario all over again, but worse. If everyone's super, no one will be. If everyone's immortal, no one will be. Well, actually, everyone will be immortal. It's the resources issue, and, like, the torture, and, like, everything you could do with someone who's actually genuinely immortal and fully self-sustaining. I don't know, like, it's a massive spoiler for Hunter x Hunter, so I won't go into it, but there's something in that universe, but it's essentially, immortality's kind of a curse in that world. So, like, I do understand fearing change, but I do also understand the appreciation for things not changing. But I think if I had to pick one, I think I would pick change. I think even though negative things have come from change in my life many a time before, just as many positive things came from change as well. So, like, I'm willing to roll the die, if you will, on change. But it's like, terrifies you. I'm what? Bullseye, right? They exist, don't they? Rules that not even you can change. Which is true. We've seen, like, that's the thing I'm so blown away by. Unless I'm mistaken, and once again, clearly I need another reread of Undead, Unluck, because I'm forgetting a very crucial character's name. My glorious King Fang Ko-woon, his name left my head for a while. I know he's left the manga for a while, but still, my glorious king, I forgot his name. But when have we've seen rules changes in their perspective, in their evolution. So maybe that's what she's talking about? But still, it's not like you suddenly lose the application of your base rule. It's just that you understand it better and you can use it more. So I feel like change is not so much the case as much evolution, but evolution technically is change. But, like, I always think of it like, okay, your Pokemon evolves, but you don't change any of its moves, and you don't train anymore, but it just evolves. Like, you use a stone on it. Or it's a trait evolution, for example, like your Alakazams or your Machamps. Yeah, it changed, but it's still kind of the same thing. It's the same line. It's the same, but then again, its stats are better. So I'm not sure if that's an apt comparison. But overall, I'd say the rules are something like that, where they change, but they get to keep all... No, actually, Pokemon evolution is a good comparison. You keep all the good parts of your previous self, for the most part. I'm looking at you, Garchomp, with your Mega Evolution. But you get all the best parts of your first part, or your first incarnation, and then you just get bonus perks. Like, Gabite and Garchomp are two Pokemon. But Garchomp is infinitely better just because he has better stats, a better move pool, better move access. So, like, he's just a better version of Gabite, but that doesn't mean he lost anything that Gabite had. He still has Gabite's great attack, Gabite's decent speed, but it's all better. So, like, I don't know. Let's see.
Of course they don't exist. If that exists, bring it here.
I mean, how many times? I get it. Juiz looped, but like, how many times did you get your cheeks clapped by one rule? Let's see.
Bring me whatever it is that not even I can change.
And she straight removes Gina's arm, which is, I don't know what it is with mangaka recently. They just like removing limbs. And like, looking at a guy with his own story, the removal of limbs is actually a pretty common motif. I don't know why. It happened that way. The characters can regenerate. And what better way to show how powerful somebody is than just them straight removing a limb? And then hypothetically stopping that limb from regenerating. I'm going way too deep into that series. I need to finish the first book before I start talking too enough about that series. But with it being the case, Gina gets her whole arm removed, but plot twist, this was all according to Keikaku. As we see her only, she does an anime grunt to losing her entire arm. Me personally, I would have been more than anime grunting. It would have been anime screaming. I would have made Super Saiyan 3 Goku look like a whistle. But with it being the case, we see change note. That's one arm down. You're an external targeter. You can't put on change on your own body. People change. Your mind is bound by that rule, i.e. me. And that's true. I do think ultimately every single second we're changing. Ain't that right? Like, you will never be the person you were yesterday, ever again. Or the person before that, or the person before that, or the person before that. You can be better than that previous person, but like, no matter what, you're never the same. Every second that passes, you are a different iteration of yourself. Every nanosecond, every Planck length, or what is it, Planck instant? I forget what the shortest possible increment of time is. Like, every single time that happens, you are a completely different person, because you can never go back. The me at the start of this video is a completely different person than me now. We have a lot of the same similarities, but I'm older. My cells have likely died and split who knows how many times. I don't know what the average. In fact, what is the average length? Oh, wait, no. How many cells in the human body die per minute? How many cells die each day? Cells aren't equal. For example, white blood cells, 13 days, 100. So, like, who knows how many red blood cells and white blood cells may have died and then been replaced? I don't know. I have no idea. But I can tell you they're a different amount than what was a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3, 4, 5 years ago. Like, we are a consistent product of change. And I genuinely do agree with change on that. Ultimately, to some degree, nothing is constant. The universe itself is aging and changing. And the planet too. Like, everything. Even on scales that we humans could never dream of controlling or manipulating. Everything changes. It's a part of life. It's what you need to accept and work with change. And only try to better yourself through change rather than simply allowing yourself to deteriorate. If you can help it. But with it being the case, we see change is shocked when Gina, in spite of losing her arm, swings something to immediately bisect change. And we see that she realizes she sacrificed her left arm to prepare her next move. Oh my, I finally took a hit. Nice damage. Quite a change. But we see, she says, you would have taken down any other Uma with that. I don't fully believe that, but cool statement, bro. Gina upscale. But we do get to see that it's revealed that I am the rule of change. Even that attack of yours can be changed into power. And we see change go into phase 3. I feel real bad for Gina. She's one of the few people who does have to fight just straight up a one-on-one. But like, to be fair, she's not fighting a 2v2. But no, I think Tella and Billy are just fighting a 2v1 against War. Which is really possibly more powerful, more dangerous than change. But still, I do feel bad for Gina, who now needs to face down this phase 3 change. And considering this is a master rule, a phase 3 variation of them is absolutely insane. Skip straight over phase 2, I do believe. And we do get to see that change declares, now we shall bring in some shall we bring in some change? Gina Chamber. And we see Gina simply smile. Talk about a quirk of fate. The old me feared those words and fought against them. I fell in love with someone who never changed and lived my life trying not to change either. It hit me in my final moments. Right now, I get how I felt back then. Enough!
Enough of your enlightened prattle. It disgusts me. I bet it does. This feeling is universally known and constantly shown. So hey, tell me, things that change or things that stay the same, which do you like more? Was that? I like either or.
And she manifests Unchange in the form of a fist around her soul. Or she makes a fist with her soul. And notably, Change is like, "Did you stupid?"
And goes, making a fist with your soul is useless. You know what you are. You're an external targeter.
And we see, unfortunately, Change's own criteria, rules, and abilities backfired against her. Because, yeah, everything changes, including the unchangeable.
As the soul fist, surrounded by Unchanged, bores straight into Change and slobber knocks her directly in the jaw. As she says, you don't get to decide what my rule is. No matter how much their form changes, a person's feelings, their resolve, their soul will never change. Even if that person were to die right here and now.
And while this is a clean moment, once again, based on the fact that Change is still clearly very alive, I am worried for Gina. I worried for a lot of characters, but specifically Gina. She did end up becoming one of my favorite characters in the rerun. Like, I'll admit, the final loop of Undead Unluck has taken the series from, like, admittedly, probably like a solid 7 to like a 9 out of 10 for me. It's one of my favorites. I just didn't cover it on the channel for some reason. Well, no, it's because no one watched it. But I've gotten past that point now. I got past that point now where I'm like, I don't care if anyone watches it. I want to talk about it. I will talk about it. So here we are. Overall, a W chapter. Undeniably a very, very, very W chapter. It's funny for the fact that we tackle the idea of change. And very specifically, I'm not going to say wrapped up Gina's character arc, but like, I think this is a solid epilogue to it, because ultimately her introduction was this whole idea of accepting change. But I think the ability to choose either or is something different too. Or before she was willing to change entirely. Now she realizes that some things can stay the same and that's okay, just as some things change and that's okay. It's a process of life. And of course, while we'll never be the same people we were a minute ago, a second ago, a year ago, ultimately that's part of the beauty of life. It's part of the beauty of change. And while your body may age and decay and break down, you still remain. Your consciousness, your individuality, who you are, can stay. Until you start to decay too much. And then you'll eventually perish. But still, all things can stay the same. However, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, please do me a favor and leave unchangeable. Unchangeable in the comment section down below. I'd like to thank you so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure that notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also do happen to have a picture down below where you can support me for as low as $1 month. Things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Some of those perks include the live reactions, we have the series I happen to review, and free variations of all my videos. And becoming a $25 patron or a $25 member, you can order whatever video you want. Also, we have a link to my Ko-Fi in the description down below. You can drop 5 beans for a short video, 20 beans for a long video, or any beans at all. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now, I'd like to thank you so much for watching. Once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Zach with the Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our $3 members, Zara, Greyhound, Eternal Flame, NMA, Real Rare, Red Wolf 4765, Astro, Brandon Payne, G Prosper, and Glacier XZ. And I'd like to give a thank you to our $5 patrons, Midnight Lord 21, Kevin Encarnacion, Sean, Igneel Lind, and A+A. And I'd like to give a thank you to our $7 members, Fine and Austin Wimberly, A. Uchiha, along with Yuki Ally. And I'd like to give a big ol' thank you to our $10 members, Robbie Uchiha, Jay Warrior, and AZ Void. And I'd like to give a thank you to our $10 patrons, Overlord Zero, Waki Munoz, and Idemo Kami. And I'd like to give a final, giga, legendary, superhuman, beyond the bounds of reality thank you to our That Guy with a Pencil tier patron. Okay. Calvin Elder.